for thumb, which is grooved, and the sharp end. This is used to elevate the periosteum during bone cutting, amputation, etc. Then the other instrument we are talking about, the bone nibbler, which is somewhat a scoop type of instrument to remove a small piece of bone. Then this is a bone nibbler. This part is the handle, and with this part we remove a small part of the bone. Something like pliers. Commonly we use for electric wiring, etc. In our country, the technicians, they call that instrument is pliers. Actually, that is pliers. Then this is the osteotome. This is osteotome. This is chisel. The difference between osteotome and chisel is that the chisel is beveled on one side. You see, just on one side it is beveled, but osteotome, it is beveled on both sides. This instrument everyone must know. This is hammer. কি দেখা যাচ্ছে না? Hello. Okay. Then this is hammer. Everyone must know it. Actually, in all the household, at least there is one hammer for various purposes. In orthopedic surgery, bone is a very hard tissue, and you cannot cut it simply with knife and blade. You must use a hammer. This is orthopedics hammer. Now, look at this instrument. This is more or less like the pliers. The tip of the instrument is sharp. This part is sharp. You know, commonly we in our household we use a pliers which has got two parts. One to hold the area and the other to cut the area, such as a wire. The tip is serrated, and with that part we can hold the wire, and the proximal part is something blade-like by which we can cut a wire. It is something like that. This is pliers. This pliers, the end is sharp, and we can cut. What we can cut? We can cut bones. Which bones? The small bones, such as ribs. We can cut ribs. We can cut the metatarsal or metacarpal bones. Small bones we can cut with this bone cutting forceps. You know, those small bones, it is difficult to cut with osteotome. We use this bone cutting forceps, or also known as bone cutting scissors. In bone cutting scissors, it is the handle is curved and grooved. Inner side of blade is sharp like scissors, and to cut small bone reeds, metacarpal, etc. And this is a spoon-like instrument. you see the end. This is a spoon-like instrument. This is known as scoop or curette. Scoop or curette. We can remove the, actually we can smoothen a surface with this. You know why curette is used. To shaving and surface, that is the use of curette or scope. In orthopedic surgery, we can use scope, scope such as in the osteomyelitis case, the unhealthy tissue, we can remove it. It is also used in general surgery in case of abscess, in case of a sinus, in case of fistula, we can remove the unhealthy tissue with this scoop. It is also used in gynecological operations, particularly in case of miscarriage. You know, the DNC, dilatation and curettage. They curate the inner surface of the uterus. But in surgery and orthopedics, we use this instrument in case of osteomyelitis, in case of abscess, sinus, or any infected tissue, devitalized tissue, we can scoop the surface. The end of the shaft is the scoop or spoon-shaped blade. You know the scoop. You frequently take one scoop of ice cream or two scoops of ice cream. It is something like that. The edge may be sharp or blunt to remove unhealthy tissue or granulation tissue from a cavity, osteomyelitis, abscess, fistula, uterus, etc. And this everyone must know. This is a saw. We use this saw to cut the heavy bones, such as femur, tibia, the heavy bones. In case of heavy bones, saw, that is the amputation saw, to cut long bones during amputation. Nowadays, it is rarely used. Nowadays, the saw is motorized. There is electric power with the saw, and we use that power saw. No more we use this manual saw. But of course, this can be used particularly in the remote areas where, forget about saw, even the power is not present. There are areas in Bangladesh, India, Nepal, where there is no electricity. You must depend on manual saw. This is also an amputation saw. You must know this instrument. They use it in case of cut or iron, etc. It is something like that. Amputation saw with detachable blade. The blade can be changed. And this is normal knife, a strong knife. We use it to cut the muscles, the heavy muscles, such as in case of amputation, mid-thigh amputation. We have to cut the skin. We cut skin with beefy blade. Then we have to cut the muscles. We cut the muscles with this amputation knife. And then we cut the bone. We use amputation saw. And this, everyone know, this is roll gauze bandage. The roll gauze bandage. Actually, it is simple gauze, just rolled up. And therefore, it is known as roll bandage or roll gauze bandage. A long sheet of gauze that is rolled up, and it is roll gauze bandage. This can be used to hold a dressing on the body parts, on the chest, on the abdomen, on thigh, on the body dressing to immobilize the area. In case of joint or bone, we can bandage the area so that it becomes immobilized. It becomes less mobile. And the roll gauze bandage, it is a simple gauze. It does not get steep. To make a gauze steep, we have to add some plaster material within the gauze. Then that is known as plaster of Paris. Plaster of Paris impregnated gauze bandage. This is very common in orthopedics cases. They use this plaster impregnated gauze bandage. The plaster impregnated gauze bandage, it is a simple gauze impregnated with plaster of Paris. It is soft, but when we put in the water changes the chemical characteristic of the plaster of Paris, and it becomes, when it is dried up, it becomes hard like any plaster. You know, we plaster on the wall, we plaster, the artists, they make a sculpture. When it is wet, it is soft. You can give any shape to it. But when it becomes dry, it becomes hard, real hard. The plaster of Paris is same thing. The plaster of Paris gauze we roll up on the limbs, and then when it is dry, it becomes hardened and the part become immobile. Then plaster of Paris impregnated gauze bandage, you know the use. To actually to support a dressing and to immobilize an area, to immobilize a joint, that is the splint a joint, to splint a joint or to immobilize a joint. When we can use? We use in case of fracture, obviously, you know. Not only fracture, we can use it in case of joint injury, such as a sprain. We have to immobilize the area. Even we can use it in soft tissue injury, in a muscle injury, even in wound, or after skin grafting, or repairing a tendon. We have to immobilize the area. Because if we don't immobilize the area, the grafted skin will move away from the surface, and in case of tendon, when the muscle is contracted, the tendon will tear out of the suture. Therefore, we must have to splint the area. Therefore, it is used not in orthopedics operations only, in case of general surgery also. In orthopedics, to immobilize a fracture, to immobilize a sprain. In general surgery, soft tissue injury such as the skin or injury, skin grafting, tendon injury, vessel injury, or even the muscle injury, we can use this plaster of impregnated gauze bandage to immobilize the area. And what is this? This is a BP blade, Bart Parker blade. Actually, Bart Parker blade, there are various numbers, and the number depends on the shape and size of the blade. But these are the commonly used blades. Actually, we use from 10, remember 10, 11, 12, and 15, then 22, 24. These are the commonly used Bart Parker blade. 10 is something like this blade 22 or 21, but it is smaller in size. The 10 number fits with the BP handle 3, but 21, 20, this fits with the BP handle 4. Then 20 to 24. See, this 20 to 24, these are for BP handle 4, but 10 to 15, these are for BP handle 3. You must remember these things. If the blade number is 10, 11, or 15, we have to use a handle number 3. But if the blade number is 20 or more, then we have to use the blade handle number 4. Then you see the shape of the blade. Obviously, this is a very small number 15. The blade is very small. It is used for fine surgery, particularly by the plastic surgeons. Because the blade is very small, we can cut only a small area at a time. And look at this 11. This number 11. It is very angled and cone shaped. Actually, it is something like a knife. We can make a penetrating injury with this. And this is nowadays very commonly used to make ports in laparoscopic surgery. Then these are the blades commonly used. The number 11, number 15, and the 10 and 20, etc. And this is a special shaped blade. This is used particularly in deeper area when we have to be very cautious that the deeper tissue is not injured, like peritonsillar abscess or etc. And these are the other numbers you see 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, etc., 18, 24, 25, 36. There are lots of blades, but these are not all common. Common are these. The 10, 11, 15, and 20 or 21. These are more common. Now come to the needle. This is a very important chapter, the needle. Actually, everyone know and can recognize needle, but there are surgical needles. You must have to know many things. Needles can be curved or straight. You see, the needles can be curved or straight. Yes, a straight needle is used in surgery. We use the straight needle also. The straight needle can be used only in the surface, not in the deeper area. We cannot use a straight needle in the, suppose the common bile duct, or in case of prostate, because the end will go deeper and we cannot get the tip of the straight. But the straight needle can be used to suture the skin, particularly the skin. A straight needle very commonly used by plastic surgeons, but it is used. Then come to the curved needle. Most of the time you have seen the needle of the curved needle in our OT, those who have gone to OT. Now curved needle. Curved needle is part of a circle. You see a circle. If you divide a circle, into 4 quadrants. 3 of the 8 circle, it may be half circle from this to this area. It may be 5/8 circle from this up to this, the 5/8 of a circle. Actually, these are the commonly used carved needle, 3/8, half, and 5/8. 3/8, half means 4/8, and 5/8. Therefore, 3/8, 4/8, and 5/8. These are the commonly used carved needle in surgery. These needles we use in case of various surgery. The deeper the structure, the needle should be more carved, such as in case of prostate, it should be 5/8. Otherwise, it is very difficult to suture the area. The more deeper the part, the needle should be more carved. Then these 3 needles, 3/8, 4/8, that means half, and 5/8. These are the commonly used needle. Now come to the other things about the tip of the needles. Tip like this. This is sharp needles, or it may be like this spatula, or it may be like blunt. Commonly we use these sharp needles, these things. And the tip is sharp, but what about the body? The body may be round like this. This is round body needle. Then the body may be angled like this. This is cutting body needle. Then what is the difference between round body needle and cutting body needle? Actually, a needle have to pass through the tissue. It is not possible to pass a tissue just after piercing. You have to cut the tissue. If the tissue is very tough, we have to use the cutting body needle. With round body needle, we can easily suture the fat or the muscles, the vessels, etc. But we cannot suture the skin with round body needle. Skin or tendon or aponeurosis, sole or palm, we cannot use the round body needle. We have to use the cutting body needle. Therefore, the needle may be round or it may be cutting. Therefore, a needle may be straight or curved. It may be 3/8 or half or 5/8 curved. It may be round or cutting, round body needle or cutting body needle. Sometimes the needle may be just at the tip it is cutting, then it is round. Then it is known as taper cutting. Just it is cutting at the end of the needle, but the rest of the body is round. It is known as taper cut, taper cutting needle. You have to see the needle. Otherwise, it is very difficult to understand the things. Now, come to the suture materials. Actually, nowadays, we don't use separate needles. With the needles comes the suture material. And this is known as achromatic needles or achromatic suture. The needles, the commercially now needles and sutures are available in this type of packages. These packages are pre-sterilized. usually sterilized by ultraviolet radiation, UV radiation, or ethylene oxide. On the package, it is written how it is sterile, etc. Usually it is written. Now the suture material. What are the common types of suture materials? In ancient time, they use various suture material. They use the cotton suture. They use the other suture material like silk or the fibers of various plant origin. Even sometimes our ancient people, they used the hair from the human hair or the hair from the other animal. Even human hair, the hair from the nurse's head were used to suture tissues. But nowadays, those are not used. Nowadays, almost all sutures are commercially available, and commonly the suture material we use can be grossly, this suture material can be divided into two groups. One is absorbable and other is non-absorbable. Absorbable means the suture material degrade. It is degraded within the body after a certain time by the water and enzymatic action of the body fluids. But permanent suture, they don't degrade. Then non-absorbable suture, which is permanent, they remains within the body for years long, perhaps for the whole life. They don't degrade. Therefore, grossly speaking, for our purpose, the most common classification is absorbable suture material and non-absorbable suture material. There are other classifications, such as synthetic or natural. Some suture material are natural. They are found within the nature. Those are natural suture material. Others are synthetic. They are synthesized or prepared commercially in the laboratory. The common natural suture is silk. You know, silk is a natural material. The silk is natural. But nowadays, the synthetic material are used very infrequently. There are other classifications, such as monofilament or polyfilament. There may be single filament within the suture, or there may be multiple filament. They are braided or non-braided. Even nowadays, they are antibody coated or not, etc. But for your purpose, for our purpose, the most important classification is that suture materials are of two types. One is absorbable and one is non-absorbable. Now see the pictures, the suture materials, they are in different color, and these colors are universal. Even not reading, but one can identify what suture material are inside that. These colors are unique. Such as silk, this is blue colored. All silk are light blue colored, but the polyglycolic acid, commonly we call it as Vicryl. The polyglycolic acid, this is, you see, a different color, violet color. Therefore, color are unique. you have to remember this color also. But of course, it is written within the on the packet of the suture material. Then you see the classification of suture material, absorbable and non-absorbable. Absorbable suture material are catgut, both plain catgut and chromic catgut, polylactic acid, polyglycolic acid, PDS, PDS means polydiaxanone, etc. Non-absorbable suture material are commonly used silk, nylon, polypropylene, polyethylene, steel. You know, steel wire can be used in case of orthopedic surgery. Steel, that can be a suture material, the non-absorbable suture material. Then absorbable suture material may be natural or synthetic, such as catgut. Originally, this is natural, but others are synthetic. Non-absorbable may be natural or synthetic. Silk, nylon, these are natural, but polypropylene, polyethylene, these are synthetic. Now, these are the generic name, the chemical name, but usually we don't say this name. Such as in our country, all bikes are Honda. We say Honda. Honda means bike in our country. Or we say mobile. Mobile means lubricant oil of the for cars. All lubricant oils are mobile. Something like that. Polylactic acid, polyglycolic acid, polypropylene. These are the generic name. But we say Vicryl, we say the proline, etc. Therefore, remember the generic name, but also remember the common name. Okay, this much for today. Hope to see you later. And please pray for us, for your teachers, and for one another, for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.